Hey guys, welcome to the weekly analysis. This is Nick from forexfornoobs.com. You're looking at AUDJPY daily chart, and today is Monday, the 12th of March 2018. Time is 19:06 here in the UK. So in today's analysis, we're going to be looking for reversal setups, continuation setups, and all kinds of price action setups on all of these pairs, not including DXY down here, but I'm not going to say all, actually. I'm going to say most of these pairs because I don't really trade all of these pairs. I just have some of them open because mastermind members usually ask me to check out a trade and I'll open up the pair and check it out. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is we're going to be looking for price action setups on most of these pairs. Let's get started. We're going to kick things off with AUDJPY daily. I'm just going to see if we can get more support resistance, but it doesn't really look like there is one right here. Right, so there's not much going on right now with AUDJPY daily. It came down to support down here and bounced away. But, you know, it's already bounced away, so it's too late to enter for a reversal. Best case scenario with this pair would be if it comes back up to this resistance area, I might be able to trade a continuation from there, as it is in an overall downtrend. But, yeah, right now there's not really that much happening. AUD New Zealand. AUD New Zealand has broken up above resistance. It seems like it's still overall in a downtrend. So we could potentially look for a continuation, but I'm not really a big fan of this pair, to be honest. There's nothing much going on there overall. AUDUSD. Well, AUDUSD has started its downtrend. It started trending down, arguably. You know, some would say that it hasn't really started trending down yet, not until it breaks and closes below the 200 SMA, which it kind of already has here, but it didn't sustain. But I would say that the downtrend has started on AUDUSD. So we could potentially trade a continuation here. This actually looks like a half decent point to enter a continuation short, depending on what happens here at this resistance area. So what I want to see at this resistance area is I want to see some strong indecision forming. I want to see price stalling at this resistance area. It's already showing signs of stalling on the smaller time frames, but I want this to happen on the larger time frames. I want this to happen on the 12-hour. I want it to happen on the daily. I want to see price really stalling here before I consider going short. But if it does stall here, then we should be able to get into a nice little short trade. Let's see just get a rough idea of our risk-reward ratio. Obviously, we can't really do much until we get price stalling here and we get an idea of the highs and the lows, but this is just a kind of rough guess. Even with a pretty big indecision candle, we do have potentially a good risk-to-reward ratio. So I would say that this has some potential. Let's keep a close eye on AUDUSD. Well, there you go, the CPI tomorrow too, so that could push price in our direction. EURAUD, yeah, nothing much going on here. I should probably adjust this down though. That area was up here. And it does kind of make sense to have it up here. Realistically, what's happening here is this is just a huge area of support resistance. This is just completely messy through here. But we do have indecision forming on support. I mean, you could potentially get into a long continuation here. But these kinds of trades are always tricky because, you know, the first thing you do when you want to enter a trade or when you're looking at a potential trade is you look to the left. We look to the left, all we see is that mess. So if price stalls and turns around here, what are the odds that it's just going to go straight up versus the odds that it's just going to do this again for ages? So I'm not too sure if I would want to jump into this one just now. I'm going to keep a close eye on EURAUD. I want to see how it closes on the daily, but I don't think there's going to be a trade there. But just because I don't think there's going to be a trade there right now doesn't mean it's not worth looking out for. All right, Euro GBP, what's going on with that? It's just in between support resistance right now. When the pair is in between support resistance areas, then you can't really do too much. You have to wait for it to hit a support resistance area. At least I do, because that's the way I trade. Yeah, nothing much going on EURAUD either. This pair has just been a real mess lately. It just doesn't really do much. It has these long periods of kind of getting stuck and stalling, and then it just has like a few candles where it breaks out like crazy, then just goes back to stalling. It's been a bit weird. EURUSD is currently in between support resistance areas also. It was a nice short trade there last week. It was a news-based trade. It kind of went the opposite direction when news first came out, and then it started moving down. Not sure if anyone took that one. All right, GBPAUD. GBPAUD is stalling on top of a support area. Price is stuck in a bit of a range here on GBPAUD. It's been ranging between this lower support area and this upper resistance area. Let me just highlight them. So it's been ranging between this lower support area and this upper resistance area here. For not that long right now, but for a little while. So I'm actually going to be looking for a long trade here potentially. My only issue is, like I said, first thing you do when you want to enter a trade is you look to the left. Do you look to the left? What do you see? You see an absolute mess of candles. So going into a long trade is not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, it's kind of range bound right now. And when a pair is range bound, you tend to get good opportunities for reversal trades. But the problem is, how long is it going to take to reach up here, which is where our target would be? Is it going to be a nice quick move up there, or is it going to take like 12 days like it has recently? So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to enter it. All right, GBPJPY trending down heavily, pulled back to resistance, forming a nice little indecision candle on the resistance area. This is actually a pretty solid... how do I explain this one? All right, it's a risky setup, but price action wise, it's quite clear that that buyers are struggling to get through this resistance area. It's also lining up with the 200 SMA, which is an extra bonus kind of resistance. So there is definite potential for a short trade here, a pretty good short trade. The only problem with this is it's a bit risky because stop loss placement is going to be quite tough with this one. The ideal stop loss is always beyond as many barriers as possible. So beyond as many barriers as possible, what we would want is we would want it beyond the area itself. So somewhere up here. Then we want it beyond any recent high, which would be above here. So if we put it beyond any recent high, all the way up there, our risk to reward ratio becomes horrible. So we probably cannot put the stop loss beyond that recent high. We probably need to put it a tad lower to maintain a good risk to reward ratio. That being said, this is a pretty it's a pretty solid setup price action wise. It's got good resistance, price stalling heavily on resistance. It's coupled with the 200 SMA. It is trending down overall. So, you know, it ticks a lot of the boxes for a good continuation setup. Right now, it does anyway. So we need to wait for this candle to close. It's also possible that by the time this candle closes, it's gone all the way up here. And this becomes a no-go, not a trade at all. But we just need to wait and see. Right now, it looks decent. So I do want to keep a close eye on this. This could give us a potential short continuation trade. GBPUSD is just stalling on top of support, ranging on the support area. In fact, it's a bit messy. Nothing much that we can do there. New Zealand USD in between support resistance right now. Yeah, nothing much going on there either. USD CAD. Just want to go back to New Zealand USD for a second real quick. Yeah, never mind. All right, so USD CAD. Nothing much going on there either. USDCHF. Started this little kind of uptrend. It's still overall trending down, but it looks like it might be starting a bit of an uptrend. So let's keep a close eye on this level. This could give us a small little continuation trade. Not really, you know, it's a very big maybe. We just need to wait and see what happens when this candle closes. Yeah. Let's keep a close eye on the support area. Let's see if indecision forms here and could give us a nice continuation. Minor continuation, that would be. USDJPY, nothing much happening here. It's broken above resistance. It's now just kind of like in between support resistance areas. Take a quick look at silver and gold. Silver is ranging between two support resistance areas, in a pretty tight range right now. So the upper boundary of this range is here, the lower one is here. But right now price is in between, so we can't really do much there. Let's take a look at gold. Similar thing with gold, it's range bound right now, but yeah, there's not really much opportunity for any trades right now. The DXY, I'm not really trading that. I've just got it open because someone asked me for support resistance on it, and I'm also testing a few things with DXY because I'm curious to test a few things with it. That's DXY is the dollar index for those who don't know. Right, so to summarize, AUDUSD heading up to a strong resistance area, or in fact it's on top of a strong resistance area. I'm going to look for price to stall on the daily or maybe the 12-hour chart for a potential short trade. Short trade would be a continuation. Has some potential. EURAUD has a nice potential continuation, I guess. I mean, it's not that great, really, but it's something to keep an eye on. The biggest problem I have with this is if you look to the left, last time price was getting through here, it took a very, very long time. Wouldn't really want to be in a trade that's just stuck here for like 6 weeks. I'm exaggerating a bit there. It's not 6 weeks. Last time it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Well, it was actually almost 4 weeks, so there you go. Quite some time. Obviously, I don't want to be in a trade like that. So we'll keep a close eye on it, but I'm probably not going to do anything with that. GBPAUD, similar situations on the support area. Might give us a potential reversal trade, but if you look to the left, it's a complete and utter mess. So you'd probably be in this one a while by the time it hits your target. GBPJPY is looking pretty decent for a short continuation trade from this resistance area. Resistance area is also lining up with the 200 SMA, which acts as additional resistance. And there's a few more advanced things with the 200 SMA, but we're not going to get into them in the analysis, so that's not that important, actually. But yeah, this has potential. We'll discuss this one further on the forum. I think this one has some good potential, despite the stop loss being a bit iffy. USDCHF has potential for a minor continuation trade, so that would be a bullish continuation, something like that. That's what we'd be looking for on USDCHF. And yeah, I think that wraps it up for the analysis. That was a bit of a quick analysis, but we have identified a few good potentials, so let's keep a close eye on them. Are there any questions, guys? What are my thoughts on New Zealand JPY daily? We can check that out. I don't really trade New Zealand JPY. I'm not a big fan of JPY crosses in general. I just find them a bit tricky to trade. I find them very unreliable. So I don't often have them open. I mean, I have the standard ones open, GBPJPY, AUDSD, EURAUD. But beyond that, obviously USDJPY. But beyond that, I'm not really a big fan of them. And I'm not even a big fan of GBPJPY, AUDJPY, EURAUD, or USDJPY. Don't really like trading those ones that much. I do trade them, but yeah, not a huge fan, especially EURAUD. I know you're not asking my opinion on the pair itself, I'm just saying. But yeah, you're asking about New Zealand JPY. I'm assuming you're looking at a potential short here from this resistance area. I already have support resistance on this pair. Probably from last time someone asked about it. Let's pull this one up. This one looks like it has migrated up, so we're going to pull it up a little bit to there. We're also going to pull this one up a tad. Just going to adjust these support resistance areas because obviously they're a bit dated. So I'm just going to put them to where they are today. Yeah, that one's already fine. All right, so I'm assuming you're looking at a reversal here. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid. What can I say? I'm not a big fan of these pairs. Like I said, they tend to be pretty unreliable. But yeah, it looks like a good setup overall. What I would do with this would be, I would probably just combine those two candles as indecision. So go down to the 12-hour and combine those two candles. What do I mean by combine those two candles? I mean, just combine them in your mind. The low of that candle and the high of that candle, those are the boundaries for... well, not boundaries, that's you want your entry to be below the low of this candle and you want your stop loss to be above the high of this candle. So that would give us, you know, something along the lines of something like that, roughly. Risk to reward ratio is not that great, but you could always enter on a bit of a retrace. You can mess with that, get a good entry. If you get a good entry, yeah, you could get a decent risk to reward ratio. It's not fantastic, but it's decent. You could look to the left real quick before you enter just to get an idea of where price might struggle on its way down. So you would identify these two spots here. On its way down, recently price struggled, it retraced all the way to resistance. You know, that's quite significant. Even though it was a quick retrace and then came back down, it did retrace all the way to there, so that's significant. And on its way up, price just got stuck here for a while, didn't it? Before continuing up. So on its way down, it's very possible that it's going to get a bit iffy over there. But yeah, other than that, looks like a decent setup. I'm not going to trade it myself because I don't really like New Zealand JPY. And there's a lot of other potentials today that have got me interested. But it is in line with the GBPJPY setup that I'm looking at. So I would say, cool. Are there any other questions, guys? Thanks for watching the analysis. I hope it was useful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button below. Also, for instant notifications when I post analysis or other cool videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Once the setups I share in this analysis trigger, I post live updates as I manage the trade, such as my entry, exit, stop, and when to get out of the trade. For these updates, add me on Facebook or Twitter by clicking the buttons below. I'll see you in the next video.